Tesla Throwback Thursday. I really want to focus in on the quarterly financial results. More importantly though, the Q&A that results afterwards. We'll start in Q2 of 2021. Why? Basically because it's chronologically after the Model S Plaid delivery event. Other than that, there really is no rhyme or reason. I believe all of their quarterly calls are of importance. As always, the full call will be linked below. I'll just be giving you the supercut along with some of my commentary. Without further ado, let's get to it.
Welcome to Tesla's second quarter 2021 Q&A webcast. I'm joined today by Elon Musk, Zachary Kirkhorn, and a number of other executives. During this call, we will discuss our business outlook and make forward-looking statements. These comments are based on our predictions and expectations as of today. Actual events and results could differ materially due to a number of risks and uncertainties, including those mentioned in our most recent filings with the SEC. But before we jump into Q&A, Elon has some opening remarks. Elon?
Sure. So to recap, Q2 2021 was a record quarter on many levels. We achieved record production, deliveries, and surpassed over $1 billion in GAAP net income for the first time in Tesla history. It also seems that public sentiment towards EVs is at an inflection point. And at this point, I think almost everyone agrees that electric vehicles are the only way forward. While we're making cars at full speed, the global chip shortage situation remains quite serious. For the rest of this year, our growth rate will be determined by the slowest part in our supply chain, which there are a wide range of chips that are at various times the slowest part in the supply chain.
Due to Tesla's ability to be flexible and versatile, chip shortage didn't prove to be as much of a problem.
In fact, even achieving the output that we did achieve was only due to an immense effort from people within Tesla who were able to substitute alternative chips and then write the firmware in a matter of weeks. It's not just a matter of swapping out a chip. You also have to rewrite the software. Let's see, in terms of FSD subscription, we were able to launch Full Self-Driving subscription last month, and we expect it to build slowly but then gather a lot of momentum over time. Yeah, I think FSD subscription will be a significant factor probably next year.
At the moment, I have the FSD subscription. For future vehicles, I definitely plan to purchase FSD. During this time period, trying it out at a subscription, which you could easily cancel, is a great way to introduce adoption.
With regard to Giga Texas and Giga Berlin, we're actually doing this earnings call from Giga Texas, so we're in the factory right now doing this earnings call. Basically nothing a year ago, and a mostly complete large factory a year later. It's hard to sort of explain to people who have not been through the agony of a manufacturing ramp, like why can't you just turn it on and make 5,000 a week? It is so hard to do manufacturing. It is so hard to do production. To first approximation, there are 10,000 unique parts and processes that have to work, and the rate of growth of production goes as fast as the least lucky and dumbest of those 10,000 things. It's insanely difficult.
Not as easy as Tesla makes this look.
That prototypes are easy and production is hard. It's always worth noting, of all the American car companies, there are only two that have not gone bankrupt, and that is Ford and Tesla. The seeds of defeat are sown on the day of victory, and we must be careful that we do not do that. We will endeavor not to make that the case at Tesla. The Model Ys in Texas and made in Texas and Berlin will look very much like the Model Ys we currently make, but there are substantial improvements in the difficulty of manufacturing. So for example, the Model Y made here and in Berlin will have a cast front body and a cast rear body, whereas the one in California has a cast rear body but not a cast front body. We're also aiming to do a structural pack with 4680s cells, which is a mass reduction and a cost reduction. Making great progress on the 4680 cells, but there is a tremendous amount of innovation that we're packing into that 4680 cell, and so It's not simply a sort of minor improvement on state-of-the-art. There are, and we went through this on the battery cell day, really dozens of, half a dozen major improvements and dozens of small improvements.
We have some follow-up remarks from Zachary Kirkhorn.
Just to reiterate, Q2 was a great quarter for the Tesla team with strong improvements across the business. While there's some benefit to looking at our progress quarter over quarter, I find it more helpful to look at progress over a slightly long-term horizon. Over the last 2 years, our vehicle delivery volumes have more than doubled. This volume increase was made possible by a steady decrease in ASPs of more than 10%.
The first question from Robert M. is, Tesla's website still says Cybertruck production is expected to begin in late 2021. Can Tesla share more details on the current status of the Cybertruck?
The Cybertruck is currently in its alpha stages. We finished basic engineering architecture of the vehicle. With the Cybertruck, we're redefining how the vehicle is being made. As Elon said, it carries much of the structural pack and large casting designs of the Model Y being built in Berlin and Austin. Obviously, those take priority over the Cybertruck, but we are moving into the beta phases of Cybertruck later this year, and we'll be looking to ramp that in production in Giga, Texas, after Model Y is up and going.
The Cybertruck and Semi, actually both are heavy users of cell capacity, so we've got to make sure we have the cell capacity for those two vehicles, or it's kind of pointless. We can make a small number of vehicles, but the effective cost if you make a small number of vehicles is insane. Like, they would literally cost $1 million a piece. Even without Tesla cell production, we believe our suppliers will be able to deliver about twice as much cell output in next year as this year. Thinking of doing is like, depending on, it's basically overshooting on cell supply for vehicles, and then as we have, say, excess cell supply in 1 month or another, then routing that cell output to the Megapack and Powerwall, basically.
Or if there's a disruption to vehicle production,
yeah,
we have an outlet for the cell capacity.
Yeah.
Maintaining one's flexibility is vital. They're handling cells that can be used in the vehicles and into the energy division. Without a shadow of a doubt, the automobiles take priority. But if there's anything that would slow down that production, you easily pivot to the stationary storage, Megapacks, Powerwalls, and the like.
Elon has said that Tesla will be opening up the supercharger network to other EVs later this year. Can you share some more details on how this will be structured? Will this be a select brands, or will they contribute to the growth of this network?
Currently thinking it's a real simple thing where you just download the Tesla app and you go to a supercharger and you just indicate which stall you're in. So you plug in your car, even if it's not a Tesla, and then you just access the app and say, turn on the stall that I'm in for how much electricity. And this should basically work with, I think, almost any manufacturer's cars.
We all know how this is playing out. Every one of those manufacturers are going to switch to the NACS. Why? Because it's easier to plug into Tesla's supercharger network. EVgo, Electrify America, NACS is going to be their primary outlet. It only makes sense if you're going to serve the majority of battery electric vehicle consumers.
I think we do want to emphasize that it is, our goal is to support the advent of sustainable energy. It is not to create a walled garden and use that to bludgeon our competitors.
What was that, Elon? Could you please say that again?
Our goal is to support the advent of sustainable energy. It is not to create a walled garden and use that to bludgeon our competitors, which is sometimes used by some companies.
Increasing the utilization of the network actually reduces our costs, which allows us to lower charging prices for all customers, makes the network more profitable, allows us to grow the network faster. So it's a good thing there. And no matter what, we're going to continue to aggressively expand the network capacity, increasing charging speeds, improving the trip planning tools to protect against site congestion using dynamic pricing, as Elon mentioned,
Yeah.
and just continue to focus on minimum wait time for all customers.
Elon said 4680 cells aren't reliable enough for vehicles. Is this referring to cycle life, degradation, or something else? Please update us on progress of 4680s and what is still needs to be done to make them reliable enough for vehicles.
We'll definitely make the 4680 reliable enough for vehicles, and I think are at the point where in limited volume it is reliable enough for vehicles.
Yeah. It's not a like science problem, it's an engineering problem. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when, and the team is 100% focused on resolving these limiting processes as quickly as possible.
Exactly.
When I hear things like this just accentuates how far ahead Tesla is compared to the so-called competition. They're coming across things at certain levels of production and innovation that these other companies are like decades behind.
Elon do an interview with one of our YouTube channels once or twice a year. I would nominate David Lee on Investing or Rod Mauer's Tesla Daily channels as first possible candidates.
I'll do an interview. I mean, just bear in mind, like, if I'm doing interviews, then I can't do actual other work, you know?
Yeah, I'm all about listening to Elon. It is definitely inspirational, but it's probably more beneficial to have that guy in the lab, on the front lines, motivating things like, oh, I don't know, full self-driving or Optimus. I'd rather him be doing it than talking about it.
Only so much time in the day, so.
Can you please update us on timelines for the start of production of Berlin and Austin, Model Y, Cybertruck, and the Semi? Do you expect the ramp of Cybertruck to be as difficult as it is a new process?
I think Cybertruck ramp will be difficult because it's such a new architecture. I mean, it's going to be a great product. It might, I think, be our best product ever, but there's a lot of fundamentally new design ideas in Cybertruck. Nobody's ever really made a car like this before.
In 5 years' time, how much faster, better could you be at manufacturing capacity expansion using cut and paste? And what are the biggest issues you need to solve to get to that rate?
I think we might be the fastest growing company in history for any large manufactured item. And when you put a factory in a new geography, in order for that factory to be efficient, you have to localize the supply chain. So there's no such thing as cut and paste. It does not exist.
Ding, 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 ding! Tell him what he's won, Johnny. Your mother right. How on earth can you expect a copy-paste mentality from Shanghai to Berlin to Texas, from Texas to Mexico? Even those things are pretty close together, but they're still going to be totally different when you're talking about the supply chain. That copy-paste mentality, that'll get you up. You have to localize that supply chain into a tight-knit situation, and it'll be unique to anything anywhere else on the globe, no matter how similar these factories may or may not be.
It would obviously be insane to do vehicle production in Europe but send vast numbers of parts from North America. That would be that would make the producing in Europe, for example, just crazy. It takes a while to hire all the people and train all the people to operate the factory. A factory is like a giant cybernetic collective, and you can't just hire 10,000 people and have it work instantly. It's not possible.
I can't stress this enough. This ain't as easy as Tesla makes it look. All of these companies throwing money at the EV transition, that's well and dandy, but you still need the engineers. You still need to train the personnel. It's not as easy as Tesla makes it look.
Does Tesla plan to offer more services beyond FSD or high-speed connectivity as part of its subscription bundle going forward? What areas in particular present an opportunity?
Really, full self-driving is the main thing, and I think Tesla is well-positioned and frankly is the leader objectively in both of those arenas, electrification and autonomy. The value of a fully electric autonomous fleet is insanely gigantic. Boggles the mind, really. That will be one of the most valuable things that is ever done in the history of civilization.
Can you speak to the attach rates for FSD so far and where you're targeting in terms of the subscription levels?
It's not worth commenting on right now. It's not meaningful. we really need Full Self-Driving, at least the beta, to be widely available, so anyone who wants it can get it.
Are you seeing meaningful evolution in terms of the regulators really understanding the technology and beginning to set some standards here sometime in the near term?
At least in the U.S., we don't see regulation as a fundamental limiter.
That's Q2 2021. FSD subscription just coming out. Giga Berlin, Giga Texas, ramping / construction. Early days, so to speak. Many questions about Battery Day, considering Battery Day was not too long before this call, and a huge focus on the manufacturing situation. I mean, a global pandemic accentuated the global chip shortage. Not just with Tesla, but with everything involving chips. Tesla's versatility and ingenuity allowed them to still function despite the numerous challenges that the pandemic represented. That's all I got for you today. Professor Hustle's office hours are in the comments below. Be easy. Peace.